Hey, good morning, 242. Hey, I'm here in Israel. That's Avery and Danielle, and we're looking at daily encounter in Deuteronomy chapter 32 through 34. Hey, check that out. We got a camel in the background here. Oh, did you get the camel? I can't see because of the sun. But we're talking about this idea of Moses is at the end of a era in his life, and not only is he at the end of a place in his life, the people are getting ready to go into the promised land. We're standing here in the promised land, and the promised land is beautiful, it's powerful. And so Moses is giving his last sermon, his last words. And what he's going to say to the people is he's going to say, listen to my teaching, let it fall like dew upon your ears. It's this idea that a life that's full of God's blessing is one where there's a high respect for God's word. But then he's going to say, remember the days of old. The key to your future is how you remember your past. And recently I read a book by a author. He's a professor from the University of Harvard, or he was a professor from the University of Harvard. He said our memory is less like a collection of photos, and it's more like a impressionist artist that has taken considerable liberty with the subject. And so the idea is that, you know, our memory can play tricks on us. Sometimes we can remember things that were not so great in a really good way. Sometimes we can forget about things that were really powerful and shaping. And so what Moses is saying is, don't forget about these 40 years that you spent in the wilderness, the struggle, the strife, and remember what God has done in your life as you go into the promised land. And then what's going to happen is Moses is going to go up on Mount Nebo. He's going to go up on Mount Nebo. He's going to take a look over the promised land. And once he takes a look over the promised land, he's going to die. And that's the end of Moses' journey. That's the end of what he does. He takes a look at this land that you see right now. Obviously, less buildings and all of that stuff. But then it's going to be the end of him and the beginning of something new. And what we're going to read about as we get in the book of Joshua is Moses and the people are going to work for Moses 30 days. And then they're going to start the process of moving on. You know, I just want to talk to maybe somebody who's in a time of mourning, of disappointment, a loss, something that you thought was going to go a certain way and it went a different way. Part of moving into God's promises is letting go of that past relationship that didn't work out, letting go of that habit that has been controlling your life. It's about moving into the next place, the next stage of your life. And so they mourn and then they move on. They mourn and they move on. And so a good question for you today is, what do you need to mourn? But then when is it time to stop mourning and move on? Maybe it's time to declare an end to the challenge and the pain and to move on. Hey, God bless you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.